Kev got his fresh new picnic blanket on.
Yeah, this is summertime picnic.
You know what TF going on?
Springtime
Representing
picnic.
for La Raza.
Just stop it.
You don't know that's my Mexican heritage. I'm 1/8 Mexican. Did you guys know that?
You're not.
No, I for real am.
You did your Ancestry.com?
Dead
He's
serious.
1/8 burrito.
That is more believable.
He just ate one burrito.
I'm part burrito. I'm part taquitas.
Your
I'm a quarter.
My
grandpa-
I'm a quarter for real.
My grandpa on my mom's side is half Mexican. So that
Did
made
he
my
look,
mom
did he look like it?
He looked like he was half Mexican, yeah.
My grandfather is Mexican, like for real, like all Mexican.
So he had another family later with a Mexican woman. So they're 3/4 Mexican, and my mom and them are 1/4 Mexican.
What y'all be having at the family reunion?
Beef.
Carne asada.
Red
Carne
beans
asada.
and baked beans.
Mexican people party the best.
They
Oh,
do.
yeah.
My neighbors are Mexican right now, bruh. Every UFC fight night, every big boxing match, Cinco de Mayo, they be turned to the max. They're
Fun.
very welcoming with the food.
Yep.
They don't care, bro. They be like, we have plenty.
Mexicans just know how to cook, too.
Mexican people
Absolutely.
are the best.
I don't know any Mexican people who just are shitty at cooking.
If I weren't black, I'd rather be Mexican than anything.
Really?
Dead serious.
Over white? You wouldn't want to be white?
No, white is like in sixth place.
Whoa.
It
White?
goes
Really?
black.
You would never want to be white?
No.
I would absolutely want to be white.
White?
To see what it's like.
No.
I would want to be Mexican.
cuss out a cop.
Then Japanese.
Like,
That's living on the edge right there.
Nah.
Playboy.
I would want to be a
Puerto Rican.
minority. For minority, go down the list of every minority.
so you wouldn't, so white would be very,
It's not fun. It doesn't look like it's
No.
fun.
white privilege.
Listen.
I agree.
I don't
It does
care.
look
No,
fun because
listen
you
to
get to
this.
yell at your parents.
Did
and
you guys
nothing
see the
happens.
Google commercial on the Grammys?
Yeah.
Of all the top search thing?
Right, but
in
we're
the
black, so
world,
that applies to
all
us, so we're
blacks.
good.
All black stuff.
All
number one
blacks.
athlete, number one ballerina, tap
Really?
dancer.
And it was
performance.
halfway through, I was like, this is all entertainment stuff. Like, I could still see a racist bashing this. Then it was like mathematician and like
Yes.
poet
Really?
and speech.
Yes.
Everything.
And we are like only 14% of the population of America.
Of America.
And we
cuz.
move the culture for the world. When I went
For
to
the world,
Japan,
cuz.
it's all the Jordans Tahir and Pat and you have on. That's all they're wearing.
All they wearing,
All-
cuz.
shut up. In Amsterdam, they were
These
playing.
old things?
They were playing Drake in the shoe store. They were saying they were playing the N word in public. Like
Public.
I don't even think they noticed that it wasn't bleeped. They were like, it's cool. We don't know what that means.
We do push the culture very much forward. But speaking of the whatchamacallit, did you see? I see the battle rapper, the white one, get socked. He said the
Oh,
N-word.
made a
man,
video about it,
That
yeah.
was such an immediate consequence.
He was like,
to
he
it.
said, I can't say the N-word. N-word.
Well, you know what the funniest part about that? The bar that he was trying to say. He said, they say I can't say the N-word. Well, nigga, he was gonna say I just called your bluff. But no, he did not. He didn't even get it out. He was like, well, nigga, I just come on.
Yeah, he picked up the call on that,
just
bluff. Hello?
cut
Hello? He picked that call up.
The funniest thing about that clip is he looked at the dude like, why would
Like,
you,
why would you
punch
punch
me?
me?
And
Can't
a black
do it.
guy protected him. I was like, imagine you coon. I was like, hey, just don't hit this white person for calling you a nigga. Like, what?
Welcome to another episode of Versus. This
Oh,
is a
that's
squad cast. We got the squad in the building.
Yep.
Never get a chance to do that. I was trying to do it, and
That man said,
Mexican
that's
talk started
right.
happening.
Mexican talk.
Awesome, man. So how's everybody doing, man? Everybody
Man,
good?
life is
Now,
good.
what's up with your hair right now?
I don't know, man.
You
Do
really
you have a destination in mind?
if you're gonna lock it up all the way, or
No,
you gotta trim it down.
I'm about to cut it right now because I didn't
What?
want it to lock. So I'm gonna
Cut it off?
No, yeah, I'm gonna cut it down low to where I can start sponging it again because the little racket thing locked it. That's what
Every
locked
lock
it.
is
It's not
taking
locked.
a different
Yeah,
route
exactly.
off of your head.
Man,
It's like they're all unlocked right now at once.
They don't have there's no
Listen,
uniformity.
somebody
Bruh.
nigga left the gate open. They're like scatter.
They're not even the same size. The front, they're like this high.
It's a mess,
There's
bro.
some that are
Unlocked
thick.
lock.
There's
It
a
looks
couple
dry.
in there that are good.
It's
Brittle.
not dry. It's not dry.
No, it
It
looks
looks dry.
moisturized. It just
definitely-
looks like
You're losing your hair.
No, I'm not.
Do
He
this.
is. I'm not.
No,
I'm
his is
good.
gone. His checked out at
I'm
12.
fine. My hair grows, and this line is legit.
your
That
hairline.
one's
cool.
Your
This one
hairline
is
looks like a
he
crossover.
hiding this line of these dreads. That line is.
Cool lineup.
Wait, let me see.
It's just I have a big forehead.
Yeah,
It's
I
going
don't.
back there, bro.
Pat,
It's not.
Why would you get your hair?
It's not. I know. I saw myself in high school. I just have a big forehead.
He does. His forehead has been like that for a long time.
Nose is pretty big too.
It is.
That's
We doing that?
It's taking up a lot of real estate on that face.
That's a.
You got a quarter lot.
Shut up. I
I can smell it.
Well, I can smell the chicken nuggets in your pocket, Tubby.
I was coming up with a joke, but it wasn't as funny as that.
No.
Happy
that was
reversing
the
it
funniest
hard.
part about Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
when he
with the
had
tots?
tater
Oh.
And the dude
Give me some of your tots.
he had tater tots in the cargo part, and I was like, that's a fantastic use of space.
It was
Yo.
a dude at my church. He
Oh
used
my
to
gosh.
keep Ritz crackers in his pocket.
What?
That's
And
so
he would
weird.
just bring
Ritz
it
are
out.
better than
like,
Raw
saltines.
snacks
listen,
in your pocket
he
is a
would
bad.
just bring it
Wait,
out.
in a bag? They
No,
were just-
I feel like they were loose, bro. Because
Loose
I never
Ritz?
saw the brown bag come up. He would just be like, "Hey, brother, it's good to see you. How's everything been?" And it's like right there in the middle. I'm
What?
Ain't no paper.
like, "No paper,
When I
no
was
Ritz,
a
please.
kid, when I was
That's why you said what?
when I was a kid, we used to ride the church van, and my mom cooked breakfast. You know, we used to have the kielbasa sausage. We used to cut it in half and burn it and stuff.
yeah.
How all the blacks fed their kids. So the van came super early, and I hadn't had a chance to eat it. So I just put a piece of sausage in each pocket, right? In each hand. So I'm going to get on the van. I needed a hand to get on there. So I put it in my pocket. The van driver was like, "You put sausage in your pocket?"
Even as adult to kid, he
You
was
got
like,
grease stains in
can't
your
do that.
jeans.
No, not jeans. Church pants. Dropped them
in
right
your
there.
slacks.
And I got in the van and took them out. They had lint and stuff on. I was
Did your
just
mom
like,
beat you for doing your pants dirty? Oh.
I was the first of the van. I kind of wanted to be.
People heard Kev mid prayer like,
Thank you for this.
Wait, we're praying. I'm just saying my prayers. God is good. God is great. Thank you for this meat in my pocket. Just cut it off to here.
Yeah, you do. You should.
you guys should both cut it off. The beard is weird.
No, the beard is cool.
The beard is lit.
If you turn
But
your
why
head
you let
upside
it
down,
go
you look
long
like
this
Tahir.
way? You don't have to let it go out this way. Like trim
I'm
that.
Dub C. Nah, the beard is not
You're
going.
Tubsy.
I was looking for one too. I had nothing. You did.
Your teeth are not the same size.
It's hilarious to cover what just
Your
got
teeth
made
ain't
fun
even
of.
present. What you looking at? Why are you laughing?
Oh, he
That side tooth abandoned you at 16. Your side tooth was Will Smith's real dad. Look, I told you I'm going to be there. It's going to be another trip, okay? I just got some things to work out.
There's crows living in that hole.
Your other teeth look at that too. They're like, why he don't want me, man? Why he don't want me, Uncle Phil? I got my first shot without him. To hell with him. What happened to that?
Yeah, you never talk about it.
I snatched out.
Why?
In a fight?
It was like cavity.
here
and
comes
you didn't
another
take care of
depressing-
it.
Just don't go into your childhood trauma. You worked in
It
a
was a
coal
bad
mine.
tooth. That's it.
We had an attitude. It was playing dice or something.
He lost it in a tooth fire.
What do y'all even be saying sometimes?
I'm laughing and didn't even know. I was like, wait,
What does that even mean?
I'm going to keep going, though.
Sometimes people say stuff. I don't even know why I'm
My
laughing.
brain was like, wait, that didn't make any sense. I was like, I don't care.
real.
Tooth fire.
If you had me explain to me
Means
why that's
nothing.
funny, I couldn't tell you nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Wait,
There's no
that made me
context.
laugh.
Tooth
That's
fire.
why I hate like this and roast me and
Yes.
great taste.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to why it works or doesn't. You
just
just
has
gotta
a lot
say
of
it.
it.
Sometimes
gotta
it's just
take
like
it.
I just laughed, so it was like
Just
an
keep
easy
going.
opening.
Residuals. Let it catch up.
Definitely
Residual
residual.
laughs. Yeah.
All right, man. All right, let's go ahead and get off.
What? Let's go. Get off. Let's try this again. Let's go. No, we hear you still.
Man.
Fucking get it together.
So well.
Like, giggity.
He's electrocuted.
Your tongue was like, they'll never know this one. Yes, we do.
Now we go
together.
giggity.
What's wrong with your alternator?
Jesus. Sick of your
Oh
mouth.
my God.
Your mouth is stupid.
All right, let's
Go ahead and fix it off.
Stupid
Let's go ahead and
mouth
kick it
self.
off. All right, we're kicking off today's show with driving versus flying.
So we're talking about cross-country trips?
We're talking about road trips.
What is the
versus
time
flying.
limit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's very important. Anything under 4 hours, driving's better. Because the amount of time to go to the airport, check in, do your bags, all that.
You're
On
spending the
tour,
4
that
hours
was our
anyway.
rule.
Yeah.
4 hours or less, a drive is just better. But you're talking about 12, 15, 18 hours in the car, night.
no.
Yeah.
Falling asleep,
Here's my thing.
But-
driving.
It also
Road trips?
depends. It also depends on the
money.
airport.
And money.
Cause like if like Vegas is 4.5 with traffic, but I don't care. Like I'm flying out of Burbank regardless. I'm taking
45
the Uber
You
there.
ever drive to Vegas?
Huh? No, what? No,
I've always been to Vegas from
absolutely
LA.
not. I am always.
What is
flying.
it about Vegas that you? Why?
I don't want to sit in the
hours.
car for more than 2 hours. I
What's
don't
a
do
car?
anything.
Driving sucks.
I'm not sitting in any car more than 2 hours if I don't have to. I will always fly. I don't care. I've literally thought about flying
But
to San
sometimes
Diego.
flying.
But what if
Oh
you don't
my
have the
God.
money?
I don't want
That's
to
a big
do
part of it. Flying is just crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, especially like and
It costs the same amount for both of us.
for the regular people in the
Yeah,
world.
but that account gonna look different afterwards.
For regular
That part.
people, you can't, especially if you're going with your family on a road trip. Sometimes it makes more sense
And
to
kids?
drive with kids than it does to fly with a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
kids.
If you got
It
kids,
almost
please
always
don't get
makes
on the
more sense to
airplane.
drive with.
Right.
I can say
Unless
this,
you,
though.
depends on age though.
I can say this though. When I was a lot bigger, I hated flying
Everyone
so much
did.
more because I was just
When
like,
you came down the aisle, they were like,
no, it was a tough thing.
That's
So
not my road.
because just when you're bigger, it's just not comfortable.
It's not.
Just,
Flying's
I'm not
not
even talking
comfortable
about the
for me.
two
It's
seat
not
belts. I'm talking
comfortable
about
for
just
everybody.
But no, it's not as bad for short, small people.
Right, but
Like
most-
my wife does not have nearly as uncomfortable experience on a plane that I do.
but even so, when you try to sleep on a plane, like
Oh,
there's
my
only so much
sitting up
time
and
that
sleeping. You couldn't sleep
have
at all. I used to be knocked out.
I cannot sleep.
I used to be knocked
on
out.
I
planes.
can.
Really? I hate
I
jerking awake. I always
cannot-
jerk awake.
Bro,
There's
so
always,
in
like,
your,
somebody
when you're
looking
in
at
the
me.
aisle, they freaking
Hit
bang
your
your
arm,
arm.
yeah.
People hit
Why do
your
you guys
arm.
like the aisle seat? The
I
aisle seat
don't
is
like
trash.
that.
No, I like the
was
window.
saying.
I'm window.
That would be the only reason I get the hours because I'm first out. I can step up, grab my stuff, and I can hit the door first.
By the way, let's take a second
I'm
here.
nimble.
When the plane lands, there's this big argument. You should wait till your turn to stand up. I'm standing up.
Why?
We've been sitting because I've been sitting down for hours.
But it's like
It is
people. It's like another
It's
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost like you're rushing people by standing
I'm
up. It's like a
not-
nonverbal cue.
My legs need to stretch. I'm not rushing to move. I'm not pushing past you. I'm not getting my bag. I
But
just
it's
need to
weird
be
to have
standing
like
up.
3 people right there.
Then
over
move
you.
out of my
Just
way.
like,
You
fam.
sit down.
This is what I can say too, though. Turbulence is far scarier than almost getting into an accident.
No, it's not.
Yes,
No, absolutely
when we get
not.
turbulence, I'll be like, bro, like this is it. Like
But
I
you
get
shake.
Really, but when you almost get into an accident, it's just almost like, whoa, okay, I'm
Sex
good.
with you is called turbulence.
Don't give him that. Nope.
It was
But you
solid.
almost laughed
I
at first
did. So I
too.
wanted to win, but no. But you don't ever get
Turbulence
sca-
can't give you a near-death experience.
Yes,
I get scared in the air,
But
bro.
you don't get like a near-death experience when you get into a bad
If you've
car
been
accident
in-
or almost into a car accident. Like it's so visual, you literally.
Yes.
Like there have been people who ride without a rear mirror because they got crashed so bad that they can't look into it.
Really?
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never
If you
heard
think
that.
about
I
it,
never knew that.
if the last thing you looked at was a huge truck hitting you, it's gonna be tough. to look.
I've looked in the rear view and got hit by a car. Like, oh, okay, there's no way they're gonna be able to stop.
So you just want? I know they're gonna stop. I know. Ah!
That was funny.
He got
That was funny. He
overshadowed by
did dumb.
DoBoy
He
just
did
yelling.
something dumb and loud. But it was funny.
That was good.
What did I do?
Like I literally don't even know if you said a
All
word.
he wanted to do was fuck with your joke. Ah! Just change the camera view.
Now let me say this though. Here's a recent revelation in my life. Flying in first class. Totally different experience.
Absolutely.
So we saved
This is
all
not
the
recent
miles.
for you, Kevin.
But that's like
No, listen,
driving in an
listen. I
expensive
just want to
car.
say no because riding a car. Nice
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
You're still in the car. But we flew. I saved all the miles from my tour to fly my family first class to Tokyo. When I tell you that Delta One little
little
suite,
pods
With the
you
bed?
sleep in.
bruh.
Oh, that's got to be
Amazing.
different.
First of all, the seats are way more comfortable
Yes.
in that.
Are they
You
beds?
can lay down.
They turn into full beds, movies, food, drinks.
If you're a drinker,
Sundays, all of that.
Sundays?
Yes, they make
Like
you
ice cream Sundays?
Ice cream Sundays.
Yeah.
What the hell is
legit.
going on up there?
Put whipped cream.
When you get on
Rides
the
and
plane and
shit?
turn
You can get a
left,
lap dance
it's a
too.
totally different experience.
I've
You
never
get on
had
the
that.
plane and turn right, sucks for you. Turn left, yeah, not so bad.
And then you can't
That's
ever.
tight.
And then flying regular seems so.
Oh.
beneath
You got to go back.
Oh.
Ugh, they're touching me.
Ugh, you guys don't give me
but
hot
though,
towels.
like Kevin Hart's Sprinter, riding in that is not riding in a car.
But
So I
you're
guess
being
you're
driven though.
Yeah, that is
That's
true.
different. If you're
Let me
dri-
tell y'all how
like,
different
That's a good
Kev
point.
is. So Kev and I, we had a show out
knew
in
you were gonna
Brea,
bring this up
right? For the
eventually.
first, it was kickoff for the show, and
Wait,
I
this
go.
Kevin?
This Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin
So
Hart,
I go down there early because I'm beating this traffic. I'm not doing 2 hours in traffic. I leave my crib. I get down there in about 40 minutes.
Where?
Right to Brea.
It's
Right?
like going towards
So
Ontario.
it was cool. It was cool. I got a room. I chilled until the time of the show. I'm not worried about it. I just don't want to deal with the traffic. Kevin got car service. I thought he took a lift. No. Kevin got car service.
What does that mean?
A guy comes
A
and picks him
personal
up.
driver, a private driver to
It's
pick
a
him
whole
up,
thing.
To wait for you outside?
to pick him up from his house, then drive him in 2-hour traffic to Brea,
And then driving back.
and then drive him back.
And they don't stop the clock either. That clock, that clock gonna keep right.
He didn't wait for me. It was 2 one-ways. He didn't wait.
What?
I just
hey,
it's
man,
the whole
girls change.
I
thing.
mean, when the Lord bless you,
gotta
he bless
change.
you. Don't be mad about
Listen,
that.
man,
blessing.
you
That's
gotta
not even
stay.
a good change.
Why?
Because you could have done that.
I could have. But I also
First class,
could
I
not.
get.
Listen, let me tell you what.
Kevin's
So
not
first
the
of
best
all,
driver. That probably was
It
the
was
best
a,
thing for him.
it was 2. By the time I left my house, part of the reason is because I needed to pick my kids up from school.
Okay.
By the time I needed to, was leaving, it was a 2.5 hour drive. I would have had to drive for 2.5 hours in LA traffic just to then go perform, and then drive another hour and 15 minutes
what
back.
So
everyone else did.
basically what he said, I would have had to been a regular person
Right,
and do
right.
what regular people
Here's the
do,
thing.
sit in
Describe what
traffic,
Tahir just
and then
did.
do what my
No,
job
it was
is.
45 minutes for him. 2.5 hours for me. Why be regular when you don't have to?
Yeah.
That's true. 2.5.
But wait,
At
but
this
hold on a
point-
second, because getting driven around is the same as being flown around. So if you put that in perspective on your road trip, would
That
you rather
actually
be
is
driven
true.
or would you rather be
When
flown?
For road trips, I actually prefer to drive. For a road trip, it's like a different mindset. It's like, oh, we're gonna go by the gas station, get some snacks. It's a scenic route. Like,
Kevin, you didn't drive on our tour.
Ever.
You drove
Absolutely.
maybe 3
I
times.
wasn't gonna pull his
out
car.
of
I was like,
92
easy.
Ratchet and
days.
Ratchet Tour, I didn't drive.
He drove a couple times.
You,
No, to each
Doughboy. Let me
We're
tell you
talking,
about.
we're talking about 92 dates, though, Kev. We'll get to Righteous
many
and
times
Ratchet.
did you
Out of
drive?
92 dates, how many times did you get behind the wheel?
9 or 2. But in my defense, I'm a terrible driver, so people didn't
is.
want me to drive.
You
This is
absolutely are.
absolutely.
Let me
unreal.
ask you guys this: road trip etiquette. Okay, if you're in the front seat,
Oh,
yeah,
don't even
during
say
a
it.
fall
road
asleep
trip.
and you have to have
Have
fire
to
Just don't.
songs.
If it's about Doughboy, don't
if
even do
you're
it.
on a road trip and you're in the front seat, would you hop in the front seat and then pull out your iPad and watch a movie with your headphones on?
Who did that?
Who
Doughboy.
do you think?
Doughboy did that in our Righteous and Ratchet tour. The driver's looking like, yo, you kind of like you're my conversation person. You're supposed to run the aux. Doughboy's like, Dexter.
Oh, you weren't driving? Who was the driver?
No,
Greg
Greg
was
was driving. My brother-in-law.
Wait, why didn't you sit in the back so somebody
Because
else can
Doughboy
sit
wants
in
to
the
sit in the
front?
front seat because it's the most comfortable, but then he doesn't want to do the front seat duties.
what?
which
Doughboy
is-
will get in the
I ain't
front
shit
seat
if you ain't
and
know before
start
today.
A full,
I don't know this is you
literally,
think I was? I
You're
don't-
driving. I done put the song on. We got the riding music going. Boom, we bumping JID. Doughboy like, turn that down real quick. Hey, what's up, girl?
Oh my! So
Now we
then,
all have to hear this shit.
Pat, when we would go to the airport, Josh would ride with me and Doughboy would ride with me. 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 sometime. He's
you
turning
still
the
doing this
baby
bit?
on. Yeah, it hasn't been funny for a while. Doughboy would turn the baby on like it's 3 o'clock. You know the volume depends on the time of day and the season. 3:30 in the summertime volume is not 4:30 in the morning volume. Doughboy's playing the baby at the highest volume
But
in the
I
front.
needed some stuff with some bop in it.
That early?
Yes.
Wait, was he driving?
No. You really did that.
Yeah, he was just
entirely.
looking for an exit.
I
was like, you're this committed and it's this
was
bad.
like, what is
I'm
he
going to
doing?
pay
There was
attention.
no
why
doors.
did y'all
I was
let
like,
him do that?
We stopped
we
him
would
eventually.
try it, but Doughboy would
Doughboy
run.
does stuff that you just assume everyone knows. You're like, dude, you didn't flush the toilet? We're supposed to do that? I didn't know what that button did. I stay away from
I
it.
gave Doughboy an instant one time to use, and like we use instants to make sure we're good.
People know what it's instant.
You know what instance is?
There's no
in the
children
bathroom,
In the
here.
bathroom.
Okay,
in the
got
bathroom.
it.
You knew.
So Doughboy, instead of like putting it out and bringing it back to me, Doughboy just throws the whole instant away.
Wait, what?
Well,
You
that
used it
I
for a
understand.
little
I
bit?
thought it was done. I didn't know you wanted to reuse.
What are you supposed to
instances.
do?
that I'm
Just put it
with
out and
Doughboy
bring it
on
back
that.
out.
No.
I didn't. I
Well, we
wouldn't
could've-
know that.
You're being a little
Why don't you
insensitive
just use
here.
spray?
I got it.
We got we're
Wait, you ain't gonna walk past that.
That was a fantastic.
what? I
You're
missed
being
it.
a little insensitive.
That was good.
Just wow.
Oh,
You
that was
get
bad.
poopery. It's like the little spray that's this big, and you spray it in the
Cause that shit don't work, man.
Not for that. Not when you eat what he eats.
Nah.
Yo, do you know
Stop
that
eating
females use pre-poop spray?
What?
It's
That's
called
what you're talking about.
poopery.
That's what she was just talking about. yeah.
Poopery?
Poopery?
I just found
They're
them out.
called
You're supposed to-
women's
you're
It's
supposed
a
bath.
great name.
What'd I
Poopery?
say?
Female.
Amazing name.
Yeah, you're supposed to spray it on the water, and it's supposed to put a protective film on the water.
And then the
But it
poop goes
doesn't-
down and then the film comes back together?
Right, that's what I'm saying. It really, once it's broken by the poop, like how
Did
does
you
it-
try
You
it?
can, you know,
Yeah,
you
I
can spray
tried
it in
and
the
that
air
worked for your
too. You can spray it
then what?
as
Poopery was
No,
like,
this is
this
just
is
poop still.
I'm
This
not
is for
finna stand
humans.
up and then spray it in there after I've already pooped.
But you
And
got
then-
warthog poop.
First of all,
said.
I do.
Feel
I'm
like
not.
y'all
poop.
need to learn to drop flush. Drop flush. That's how you keep the
We
smell.
courtesy
Drop
flush.
flush?
We courtesy
Absolutely.
flush. But
Drop
Should we
flush,
filling
drop
up the
flush.
bucket?
All right,
Yeah.
let it rip.
You guys
look like-
flush
No,
after
drop
every
it.
drop?
That's not good
Not
for the
after every
environment.
drop.
That's not
But that
good for
is
the
a significant
environment.
amount.
Forget the environment. I don't care nothing about them turtles.
Y'all are just several
If you-
flushes?
Wait. It
Bro,
depends.
them
If
wells
you're
is
at
dead.
home and nobody's there, then yeah, you can sit there on a pot of
Not
poop.
at
But I like
and
to see
flush
my,
at the
my,
end.
my final
Why?
product at the end.
You drawing a picture of
You know
it?
what I mean?
Are you drawing a picture of
And
it?
I'm like,
wanna
yeah,
see
you
how
were
well I
inside
did.
of me.
What?
No
I
more.
want to see
Whoa,
how
whoa,
healthy
whoa.
I am.
Why can't you
You
see it?
nerd. You are a nerd.
Why can't you
dude.
see it?
Yeah,
Don't
you
you know
were
how much you
Right, no.
that was a lot
Outside of that,
pressure.
though, you can't see it if you wipe good. The toilet tissue should be covering it.
What's tissue?
Wait, what?
What's toilet
Because
tissue?
he said he likes to see what he did.
No,
I'm like,
but
the
then he
toilet-
would flush and then wipe, obviously.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What I'm
He's
saying,
not going to
like,
fill it up and
stand
then
up
put
and
up
then
with
you
He
toilet.
said he doesn't flush because he wants to see what he
Yeah,
did.
but that
He's saying that
So
he
that
wouldn't
mean-
be able to see it because he puts that much toilet paper in the
You guys know this was anchored in a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I didn't.
so here's
I wasn't for sure at first.
How do you wipe then? I don't understand. When do you wipe? How do you know when you're done wiping if it's
Don't
not
you put a
white?
couple of paper towels into them so you don't see anything but napkin?
I had to make sure. I never know
What
what
was
you
the
Pat.
topic?
I never know what
Fish
you.
grease or grits? I don't know.
What are we
Play-
on?
Oh, road trip versus
Road trip
driving.
versus-
Oh,
shit.
here's the thing about that. Road trip is, like you guys said, 100% dependent on company. Because the maker of the car, you might get a little bit more room or not, but for the most part, you got the same dimensions. It's all about company. And then plane is airline. Because you don't be really talking to people on the plane like that.
I don't want to
So-
fly nowhere on Spirit. Spirit is buns.
Is it really? Are they really taking the
Yes.
seats out in some planes? So and having
No.
people hold like that?
They
No.
would do that if it were a
would.
safety.
If they were allowed to.
If they didn't have the seatbelt issue, is the only reason they can't do that.
That's wild.
If you could stand up legally, they would do it.
That's why when I started seeing that, I
and
was like,
honestly,
they would probably this could
people
be real.
would pay for it. Like,
they'd be like,
you could go to
$5
Miami for
to stand up?
$42 on the stand-up bus.
Like if it was a swing.
Stand up,
Well,
right?
people would lay on the ground if you could get there for $25.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Spirit would take them seats out if it was legal.
The reason why I think I am going to side just by the ever so slightly of hairs to road trips, you don't get a ton of memories from flying.
That is true because
You're not gonna memorize nothing about
when you're
a flight,
kid,
like-
you remember road trips.
Exactly. You're going to remember the journey of the road.
journey was an experience.
You're not going to be like, oh, I walked on the plane, I sat down.
That's a good
I
point.
watched
That
all
4
these.
hours.
Like,
Because
But
when
I
I was
mean,
a
you
kid,
be,
we
you
did
be
a lot of
seeing
road
some
trips.
crazy stuff through the window
And
if you
on
get the
an
windows.
airplane, if somebody farts, you can't get away from it in the
Man.
car. You put the window
Oh.
down.
That is
Can y'all-
literally the worst, bro.
Oh.
Am I the only one that could tell the difference between a white person for a white
What?
person for it and a black person for it?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever put that much thought into it.
I don't
I
wanna.
definitely
want
can
to.
What is
tell the
that,
difference.
Hummus?
I can tell
What's
the
the
difference.
difference?
I know I'm not. I
Trying
don't
to
know.
figure out who did it?
It's
What's
just
the
it's
difference?
just a stench. You could smell it.
You're a racist.
No, I'm telling you, there's a
there an
complete
Asian
difference.
So you can smell a fart and be like, that's an Asian guy.
Well, mainly just I can
Well,
tell
how
when
do you
it's a white person.
verify if you're right or wrong?
I asked him.
You lying.
Lying.
He eats a black guy's ass, and then he eats a white guy's ass.
That's where we're going with this content. He's eating butt, male butt. I don't know how we got here.
Y'all really can't tell the difference?
No, man.
Why can you?
That man-
Why can y'all not?
He's
Y'all
eating
nose
butt.
are ridiculous.
Male
Y'all
butt.
lazy.
Come out of your
wanna
mouth.
know.
Y'all are just the laziest group
I'm
of
just
individuals.
offended that somebody farted in a.
That's
close
where I
space
am. I'm just like, man, y'all
I can
sick.
smell
It's
it.
really
So
I'm like,
here's like, all right, here we go. Okay. I got hints of barbecue.
I'm bad
Hennessy.
seeing.
Is that a
You
black
sound
and
like-
mild?
Where,
Oh no, this is
At the end of
matcha. Notes of matcha. Oh, that was tied over
At the
in
end, he's
13C.
like, "Oh, I farted."
ginger farts. Okay.
This is a lot of my diet.
Don't worry, what's your answer?
Period
All right,
fart.
man. I think just based on I
was
haven't
funny,
had the first class experience enough yet. My paper's not there, so the road trips are better. For me.
All right,
I'm
road
pretty sure,
trip.
but I get more paper though.
By the way, small aside, the entire tour last year, I flew Diamond. The rest of the tour was main cabin or whatever they did back there. DoBoy successfully in all the United States of America just boarded Diamond by just bogarting his way. he would scan his phone. He'd be faking a phone call. Boop. Yeah. So what I told him is the things are down 20%.
Algorithms.
Everybody would look at the thing and be like, "Well, I mean,"
and they would just let me walk through because you know how they make you line up per your thing.
No, they were in their spot.
I was like, nah.
So then when we were in Amsterdam, he did it. Boop. They're like, sir,
get
no.
your ass back in, fat boy. I was like, sir.
Why risk that embarrassment?
Nah, because
it worked everywhere in the United States. Me, Josh, and Tony would be waiting like, they gonna get him today.
Remember at first you guys had your phones out, and then eventually you were just like, I think this
is how I live my life. You just gotta act like you're supposed to be.
They should have said, "Get your broke ass."
You gotta act like because if you get up there and you start fumbling and you start looking around, I'm like, man, get to the back. But
that's kind of the rule for everywhere.
If you say act like what?
If you sit there and you ask a bunch of questions and you act like you're not supposed to be there, I'm like, man, get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
But if you walk up there, like I would be act like I'm having a real important conversation, and if you try to say something, you're gonna mess it up for me.
He would make sure to say the word algorithm and percentage rates down.
I'd be like, no, the Detroit algorithm. Hold on 1 second. Boop. Listen, I told you guys.
But his phone was never on. It was just the Apple Wallet thing.
They see the white.
They can see.
One time
that
I started ringing, I was like,
you had to be like, oh, hang on, I gotta take this. Switch over.
All right, Pat, what you got?
I'm gonna go with I enjoy road trips more, but I'm just gonna say flight because
you always getting flued out.
I'm gonna say flight because for a shorter amount of time you can see something that's way further away. So if I'm in California, I like the idea that a flight can take you to anywhere, where a road trip is just like,
oh yeah,
you can see maybe Texas if you really go hard.
All right, I'm gonna do flight all day, every day.
I'm going to say flight because I'm a sleepy driver and I'm a sleepy passenger, so I don't make a good road trip companion.
I can see that.
I'm a terrible driver, but I would say road trip anyway because I do like to, like, we were in upstate New York, and I was like, oh, it's pretty out here. The airplane, everything, all the cities look the same from the air. It's like little squares, and you're like, oh, you little ants down there living in your little human world. And then you land and you're just a person that's
and road trips can be cool too because when you can like stop and get food in different places you've never been to, you can't do that on a plane.
Yep.
But you can just fly somewhere and get the food there.
And if you don't like the bathroom at the gas station you're at, you can always go to a different gas station. Whereas on the plane, if you can't fit in that bathroom,
I've tried to take a shit at 450 pounds on an airplane. Not a pretty.
Let me tell you something. We were coming back from, what was it? London last year. Is that what the last city?
I don't know where the story begins in your mind.
Barcelona last year.
Okay.
And we were on our way back to America, and I guess too many people had used the restroom on the plane, and they were like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you need to stop using the forward restroom and start using the back lavatory.
Ooh.
And this was like,
really?
This was like maybe 6 hours in, right? Around 8, they was like, listen, if you keep using the forward lavatory, we're going to have to make an emergency stop.
Really?
We can't keep letting you do this. 10 hours, they was like, do it one more time. I'm going to turn this whole plane around.
Turn it around. We'll go right back to Barcelona. You'll never get home. Do it again.
It was so great.
Why didn't they just put like a tape over it?
Bro, I don't know, but he was getting increasingly upset.
That's
and I
hilarious.
Thought it was hilarious.
It just
I didn't know
turned
they
the
would
pinky
land
at
a plane over some shit.
Right?
Who knew? Who knew?
Take another poop. Take another poop. Pee. Nigga, fart.
Here, the flush is like, oh, I'm parking.
Is that how you land a plane?
Start going down. Fuck this.
Is that how you land a plane?
That's how
Park. I think it takes a little bit more time than that.
right, a little more effort.
You take
I didn't get to say mine.
Oh, go ahead.
You did.
You said it.
What'd I say?
Road trips?
Oh, okay. I said it.
All right, so the next topic is Mexican food versus Chinese food.
Oh,
man.
you son of a bitch. This is going to be difficult.
Let me tell you what. No contest at all.
No, it's
You
not.
better not say Mexican.
Mexican
No.
food
Absolutely.
for
You're out
the
of your
No,
win.
Chinese.
Mind.
Chow mein, bro.
Mexican
You're out of
food
your mind.
Shrimp fried
for
rice.
the win. You don't feel hungry after. So many
That's-
different flavors. Carne asada.
Does Mexican American count?
I was
Like
just
what?
thinking real Mexican.
Like burritos?
She's talking about like burritos, tacos, nachos.
It should because
Nachos.
usually in America we do Chinese American food. That ain't real Chinese food.
I don't
So
care if you're talking about El Pollo Loco, if you're talking about salsa and beer, which is the best Mexican restaurant in LA. I don't care if you're talking about a taco truck,
Taco Bell.
nacho,
Bruh,
except
shrimp
Taco
fried
Bell.
rice.
You can't, no,
Shrimp
you can't
fried
You
rice.
telling me
Taco
shrimp
Bell.
fried this rice?
Shrimp fried rice, no peas, no carrots, broccoli beef, Peking rib.
Broccoli beef, no broccoli.
A lot of times Chinese food spots be making fried chicken better than some
That
black spots.
is
that is-
100.
That's Korean.
That's
That's
fact.
Korean
No, that's
food. Though.
True.
Yes.
I think Korean.
In DC, they tell you when
Right.
you want to go to get mumbo sauce to go to a Chinese
That's
curry
real.
out.
Same
Those
in
are
New
fire.
Orleans. Some of the best
Those were
fried
fire.
chickens at the Chinese spots in the hood.
Man, have you seen that video of the New Orleans Chinese people who have the southern accent?
It's crazy.
Like
That's
in
wild.
or maybe it's Mississippi Delta Chinese people, and they are full Chinese and they sound like white, like they have the same southern twang as Mississippi people, and they've been
crazy.
in Mississippi for just as long, opening businesses. I gotta send y'all the video. It is
Asian
crazy.
people, it's like the most interesting when they're like completely like in another culture because there's a big like population of Korean people who love Mexican like Los Angeles culture and they do lowriders and like
Really?
they
I
look
had no
straight up
idea.
like they look like cholos.
Korean
Yeah, they like
cholos?
live that life and there's like I think there's like a Vice documentary on it, but like
What?
it's pretty crazy.
Oh,
Like,
no, I never
They
seen
always
that.
look the most interesting out of water.
But see, the thing I think I like most about Chinese food is just the variety of it. Like they be like
ain't Japanese
infusing
food, though.
fruits like orange chicken, like you know what I'm saying, like lemon. shrimp.
You're naming all the Americanized. You're just
Wait,
eating
but
at
wait,
Panda
all that-
Express.
that's
Egg
the
roll,
thing is
foil
Taco
wrap
Bell
chicken.
is all American.
Yeah, but I don't be going to Taco Bell.
It's not about what you go to. It's about Mexican food,
True.
and that is considered one of the staples of a Mexican food in the U.S. Taco Bell.
But at least in Mexican
It's a
food, they
delicacy.
really eat tacos.
War wonton soup.
Panda.
They don't be eating burritos like that.
that Chinese?
though.
Yes.
They don't be eating
It's
all
Chinese
that kind
for
of
sure.
stuff.
No, I'm
Nachos-
not saying
stickers.
that.
Pot stickers,
Nachos.
bro.
Are nachos Mexican?
Mexican
Authentic.
American.
It's like
that's what it is,
Tex-Mex,
it's not
right?
General So chicken.
Sal.
General
You say
so-
General
so-and-so?
So-so.
Like
DoBoy
that's,
try to join the army to be General So. Hey, where can I want to join this part to make this.
but
So
no,
where is he?
I was telling you, but Chinese, but like I feel like they have like the best. Because even like they're like I like their egg drop soup. They have like
You
different
would sell it.
hot
Aren't
and
you
sour
portion-
soup.
Aren't you like happily Mexican apart?
I'm a quarter Mexican, but I still like Chinese food more.
Wow.
Like Chinese food is just it's saucy, it's flavorful. I feel like sometimes Mexican food is too heavy. It makes me feel fatter than I know I am.
Well,
And I don't
Chinese
like that.
food don't do
Chinese
that.
food is
Is
heavy.
it a mirror?
Chinese food also, you be hungry in 5 minutes.
No, you don't.
Yes, you
Then you can
do.
eat more. That's the thing I like about it.
Everybody
Fills
knows.
you up.
Everybody
Fried rice
knows.
fills you up.
After you eat Chinese food, you be hungry fast.
I
Because
don't.
they put a lot of MSG in it.
That has nothing to
You're
do
literally
with
just
that
talking
at all.
about
Jew.
Panda Express.
That is-
They put it in Chinese food to make you fill up, but it makes you. But
That's
you get,
not what MSG
Japanese
Well, what is
food
MSG
is where
then?
it's at.
MSG
Madison
is
Square Garden.
monosodium glutamate, and it's used as a flavor. It's a meat tenderizer, and
Hold
it
on,
also
time.
preserves
You knew what that stood for?
What?
Glutamate?
you nerd.
monosodium glutamate.
I knew what it. I knew it was like
Glutamate.
sodium. I didn't know. You know the
Glutamate.
word glutamate?
Yeah.
What does
Just off the
glutamate
top?
mean?
Yes, that's what it means.
Why do you know that?
Because
Why
I
is that
grew
piece?
up with MSG in my house, so of course I know what it is, and I
Well,
know what
y'all
it's
had
used
it just in the house.
A
like
nigga
that?
named MSG.
Yeah, Asian people have it as a staple in their house.
It's a seasoning.
Is
You
it like
can buy it
Lowry
at the-
for
you can buy
y'all?
MSG at the
it's
store?
It's a seasoning tenderizer. So you put it on meat. It makes it like
I thought it was a
softer.
chemical.
Yeah.
It is a chemical.
I thought it was
but
chemical, too.
Salt is a chemical. Peppers, like everything in our
Wait, salt's
body.
a chemical?
Water is a chemical. H2O. That's a
Oh,
chemical.
yeah.
Cinnamon's a chemical?
Yes, everything.
Thyme?
You're a chemical.
Basil.
Wait.
Water is
Sage
know
is
it.
sage is a chemical?
Everything is a chemical.
Wait, time out. Water is a chemical.
Water is a chemical.
Yeah,
Salt
it's on
is
the
a
periodic
chemical. Oxygen
It
is
literally
a
is on the
chemical.
periodic
Carbon.
table. It never clicked.
Well, wait, no, that's an element then.
It's an element.
Element.
Yes, element.
Last Airbender.
Well,
See,
here's
you
what
was
I'm
wrong.
saying. The point is, it's all chemicals. These are all chemicals. They just make
Hydrogen's
they're
a chemical, oxygen's a chemical.
It's made of elements.
Two
That's
is a chemical. Why is two
Oh,
there?
my God.
It's two of each. I knew it.
The point is, MSG is in a lot of Asian food, and some
What does it
people-
taste like?
It doesn't really have a taste. It's just kind of. It's a little bit salty. It's a little. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like
I'm
it's
shocked.
kinda
Can you put your
salty.
chopsticks on it?
I didn't think MSG was something they seasoned.
I
with.
don't know
Me
what I
neither.
thought it was, but I
Yeah.
never thought y'all was in the cabinet like, oh, man, you ain't got no MSG in
It's a
it.
preserver, and it is used in a lot of Asian dishes.
So saying no MSG is kind of in the same category as saying we don't use a lot of salt or no salt.
I would say probably more like maybe gluten. Like it's like, oh, this is gluten free. This is
Yeah, that's what I thought it was the equivalent of gluten.
it's not the same.
I thought it was like the equivalent of like we don't spray our like crops
What
with
do I even
peroxide
know?
or something.
Well,
I don't know
but
shit.
See, like the thing
me
about it
neither.
is,
What the
like
fuck?
American people are like MSG is terrible, but the truth is that people in Asia have been using it for centuries. Like
Shout out to MSG though, because I can taste the difference.
Asians be
So
living
I don't know.
long
I don't know
lives.
when people. I know it's not good for you.
There be
because
Chinese food that
there-
needs
it's
MSG.
It's a created like seasoning, but people been using it for a long time.
That's
I'm
crazy.
gonna tell you what,
You got
I
MSG
love,
at the
I
house?
love Chinese food, but I feel like Mexican food is so much more flavorful.
Oh.
Let me tell you
There's
why.
so much more variety.
Nah.
You get so
Refried
many more
beans.
I can't go there
flavors,
with
like
you. I
from the
can't.
beans to the way they cook the meat,
Guacamole.
the different styles of cooking the meat, adding lime to
Have you had
something, cilantro.
champurrado?
No, I don't
Mexican
know
hot
what that
chocolate?
is.
Champurrado is
Horchata
Mexican hot
is fire.
chocolate.
I ain't really fuck with
Horchata.
Horchata is
Also,
fire.
Mexican rice over Asian rice.
Nah.
Absolutely.
But see, this is
I fuck with fried rice
Absolutely.
over that.
But this is the big thing, though.
Fried rice. I ain't
Like
Let me
fuck
tell
with
y'all
fried
this,
rice.
though.
Every
Mexican
time.
Refried rice is too much.
Take dairy out of Mexican food. Would you still like it nearly as much?
What? Why? Who cares?
Because dairy is bad for you and it's gross.
you don't
Wait,
have a lot of
but
dairy
a lot
in
of
Mexican
foods are
food
bad
anyway.
for you.
Cheese,
period.
sour cream, that's what makes it good.
Take carbs out of either. What are you left with?
Nothing. Meat.
If we're
But
just
the-
if we're
but-
just playing that
but
game,
if you take out, man,
Why would you take that out?
They're bad.
Like why would you have to like?
because I don't really like dairy like that.
There's a lot of Mexican food you can have without dairy.
Like what?
It's
What's
not-
good without dairy?
Tacos.
Most
Not
Mexican
put-
tacos don't even have dairy.
Tacos.
Like
Yeah.
Flour
Potatoes.
tortillas.
That's not dairy.
what?
Flour is not dairy.
No. Flour's not
What?
dairy.
Are you
It's
serious?
milk.
no,
Are you serious?
Flour is
What?
dairy?
no.
You
Flour
thought
is a
flour
gr-
was dairy?
It's
I
bread.
didn't say flour was dairy.
Oh my
What?
God.
What in a flour tortilla has dairy?
I
So you
thought-
think
I thought-
they take the flour and put milk on it, and then that's how they get the tortillas?
I thought flour was.
This nigga's been ordering his tacos with 2% milk.
No. He go
thought flour
to
was
the Mexican
dairy.
spot. And be
Why?
Like,
Why
I
did you
need
think
the-
flour was
no, I
dairy?
need the dairy-free.
Because they
flour
tell you to stop
tortillas.
eating flour when you. It's a thing, right?
No,
But
Flour is
that's gluten.
carbs. They don't want you to eat carbs.
That's gluten.
What is
Wheat
flour made of?
it's
Wheat, usually it's from wheat, so that's why they say when it's gluten free, then you get a different type of flour that
I'm gonna look
isn't
this
made
up just
from
in
wheat.
case.
Make sure there's no dairy in flour.
There isn't anything.
And flour?
You know what's funny though?
up,
He's
yeah.
probably
You're
saying
old,
this
young
because
guy.
every time he go to the Mexican spot, he be ordering his tortillas without any dairy, and they just be like, okay.
what are you
There's
talking
dairy
about?
in flour. Just type that in.
They not putting
It's
no
not.
milk. It's water and flour.
Dairy in flour.
It's
Somebody
water.
asked this.
Everyone's asked everything.
It's water.
Milk. Oh. And there is milk in there.
What? You just saw lactose.
It says products to avoid with milk in them. Now pull that up.
There's no list underneath. What do you?
Right here.
But why did you make it
Right
seem like
here.
you were right already?
That's the clue. This right here.
Hang on.
Click
Stop
right
it.
here.
Did it.
Watch.
You
Watch
didn't.
this. If I'm right, I'm never shutting
I've
up about
seen a grandma make tortillas.
it.
She
Living
used
with a
water and
milk
flour.
allergy. List to check foods for labels cow milk, blah, 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 blah. Where's the list? I need the list.
Stop being so
Dairy
aggressive.
products to avoid. If flour is on here. Okay, here we go.
Flour is
Butter
made
and
from
butter
wheat.
fat, cheese.
I glanced at it
cream,
already. It's
custard.
not on there.
Oh, flour ain't on here.
It was
We
not a
know
big.
that.
It was not a big list. I looked at it and gave it to him because I knew it wasn't on there.
Man, just move along.
No. Let's talk about this.
I don't know what
Wow.
about flour.
I don't know why I thought it was milk in it.
In flour?
It's
Not a flour
Because it's-
tortilla,
because it's
but
white?
flour.
That's what you thought made it white?
I just thought it was
That is what you thought because it was white. It was made with milk. Flour. If flour was made with dairy, you couldn't leave it out on the counter forever.
Yes.
Oh,
Or in your
yeah.
cabinet.
There can possibly be dairy in it.
Oh,
It sits
my
on the
gosh.
counter forever.
This is the most.
You mix flour with dairy to make bread and biscuit and all type of stuff.
That's
Don't
what it
ever-
was because you
don't
mix it with
ever
the other
tell-
stuff that's in dairy.
Don't ever
Because
tell
you need flour to
nobody-
put milk and stuff to make bread. That's what
Listen
it,
to
there is
me.
milk in bread.
No, don't you ever tell anybody else that you are a quarter Mexican. That is a disgraceful thing. The most disgraceful thing
So
you've ever
I'm disgracing
said.
Mexican people more than black
Yes.
people right now?
Yes, absolutely.
This nigga thought the difference between flour and corn tortillas was like vegan and regular.
Hey, man, you learn something new every day, right?
You have puppies.
There are two puppies
This
that whose whole
Puppies
life,
are at
you didn't
risk.
think that there was
whole
are
life
at
is
risk.
dependent on this
Those
guy.
are at-risk puppies.
but all jokes aside, y'all ain't never thought that.
No.
All jokes
God.
aside, what the hell are we doing here?
Just
It was
let
just
it
me.
go.
All right, let's
move
All
along.
right, so let's just
Pat
do
gotta
the
go.
let's just do the vote.
All right.
I forgot what. The
I want a
Mexican
Mexican.
or
Chinese
Asian
versus
or
dairy
Chinese?
flour.
I like Japanese food more than Chinese.
No,
food.
I'm going-
So
okay,
I'm going
so
Mexican.
Chinese or Mexican?
Chinese, you heard?
Okay, Pat,
Mexican.
Mexican.
Chinese.
Uh-oh.
Mexican.
Oh, the Mexicans
Viva
have
la
it.
raza.
Oh, hey.
I'm gonna have some dairy flour
Shut up.
tortillas for dinner tonight.
That's hilarious.
All right, we're gonna move on to this next topic.
For talent.
DZ, you were late.
All right.
So y'all, we
Take
we
it
got DZ and
Take it
Sydney
out
for
of
Pat.
there.
He had to go get his nails done.
He left his panties in some dude's car. He had to go retrieve those things.
So we got big old Greasy D. Pat, get out of here. They're gonna cancel your appointment. They will cancel your appointment if you don't leave.
Contrary call was like, "Where you at?" He's like, "I'm on my way."
Quit shouting at me.
Howdy.
Where you at?
All right.
What's
All right, so we're gonna move on with this last topic.
Wait, we got to introduce Denzel. How you just gonna act like
DZ's
he's not
in here.
Oh,
What's up,
my
y'all?
bad.
Shoe
Yo,
face.
My bad. What's up, DZ? You
You
good?
look like you really didn't mean to come to work today.
What you used to call him,
You
though?
gonna tell them?
What did you used to
not
call him,
mess with
though?
me,
Skags?
And you gonna mess with me.
You just Denzel. You know
You
that
just lied.
Denzel.
What's
I'm gonna need
Meg,
you
no,
to
don't-
stop
no, don't start
wearing-
speaking now.
Listen, why do you always wear your wave cap and your do-rag in places that don't require it? Like, you should stay at home or work at home. Work and out in public are places you shouldn't wear them.
Meg, this
And we
thing-
don't never see you with the waves. Ever.
He
never
actually-
see you with
You
the
never
cap.
see me with the
DZ
waves?
be swimming. When he get the
Really?
fresh cut, he be swimming.
be
out
here.
there.
I be swimming. I'm swimming now too.
Wait, why can't we see it then?
You got to go way
Because
back
I'm
in the
woofing.
pictures for that.
I didn't say you couldn't see it. It's just
No, he be waved up.
You wouldn't be wild by it right now.
Now, when he get the fresh
It's a
cut, he
work
be
in
wavy.
Progress.
But that only
We
happens
need
like
to
once.
keep that together.
Twice.
It's the fresh cut that he
Quarter.
doesn't
Y'all
do
wave checking me?
often.
Is that what's happening?
No, no, DZ, you
They
don't
here.
don't do it to him, DZ.
Yeah, I don't
they don't
wanna-
deserve
I
it,
saw,
DZ.
I saw it over the weekend.
Nah, DZ
You
got
know
them
what?
waves.
The
Listen.
You don't want
do-rags
to line the beard up a little bit? Just a little bit?
do-rags are equivalent
just
to
got
women's
there.
bonnets. If
No,
you're gonna go out,
hey.
it's the same exact thing.
No,
You
there
don't
was
And
a
I've
there
seen
was
plenty
a
of women-
there was a
It's the
4 or 5 year
same.
period where everybody was wearing their do-rags out. When 50 Cent came out with the G-Unit stuff, we had them under our hats.
Even-
And
even-
what year
Bonnets
was
have-
that? What year was that?
It was
Why
03
you
to
looking at
It's
me?
07.
got
it's
something to
not
say, Tahir?
2020.
Huh?
Why you looking like you got something to say?
He needs to put a do-rag on over his hair now.
Yeah, please. Anything
No,
over
Tahir needs
that.
a bonnet.
Yeah, anything
Tahir
over
does
that.
need a point. He got to wash and
Don't be
go.
mad at my luscious locks.
Man,
right
introduce
now.
the next topic.
Yeah, man.
All right, well, that's what I was. Shut up, everybody. Shut up.
Hair is skinny.
Everybody
You gotta-
go to bed.
Hot date with Hot Pockets tonight.
The last topic of the episode is Harry Potter versus Star Wars.
I'm out of this.
Yeah,
Wait, does this include everything? Like
I'm
the
black,
live
dog. I'm
action?
checked out.
I'm
Yeah,
in the-
this is for movies, video games, live action.
It's just the whole.
Harry
the
Potter
whole
has video
exhibit.
games?
The whole world.
Exhibit. Nah, like but
They
Star
have
Wars
video
does. Do they? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I ain't
Star
got
Wars
much
got
for this.
video
I don't
games.
really watch either. I ain't gonna hold you.
I
You
will
watch
say
Star
this.
Crunch Wars.
Nope. I ain't watch.
Nope.
Shut up, Denzel. That's why
I didn't even say nothing,
you
nigga.
laughed. That's why your teeth look great.
They don't. I have very nice teeth.
You
Kevin.
want to take a
That's
break?
what I was saying. To hear you look like a warthog going to the prom.
That's what y'all gonna give me?
Yeah. You know you
It
built
was
like
so
Pumbaa.
stupid. I had to read that.
You imagine
The glasses give you. a
Puma
little
putting on a
shade.
corsage? Yeah, buddy. The limo's almost here.
Hakuna Matata.
Almost here.
Oh,
Yeah,
Harry
yeah.
Potter. I don't know. It's a lot of witchery and sorcery.
You be watching Harry Pot roast. Back to the same old
Jeez.
thing. You never shoot or shoot.
And
Shoot or
listen,
shoot.
I was about to laugh, but I was like, nah, he just said something about me. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
I ain't
Don't do
gonna
that
give
to
you
him.
shit.
Don't,
Petty
I ain't
ass
giving you
shit.
shit.
don't do
I
that.
liked Harry Pot roast, and I was like, I looked at you like, that is
Hungry
funny.
Potter. Hungry Potter? Hungry Potter? Hungry Potter better. Should've went with
I
that.
did used to watch Star Wars back in the day. I did like Chewbacca, C-3PO.
I bet you like
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca.
Did you say Chewbacca or Chewbacca?
No, he said Chewy box.
Chewbacca.
He said Chewbacca?
Oh, that guy.
That is not
know
the
that
sound.
Chewy
Nah.
Bunny
You
Bob.
sound like a dog when you get too close.
That's how he does it.
Stop, ew.
Oh my God!
That's,
That is the
that's
worst.
literally food still in the back of his mouth, just rolling around.
Stop, Village.
But I would
I
think the
don't-
storyline was better on Star Wars the words that they
you would think?
used in Harry Potter was just too much. I was just like,
They were spells.
and the dude that was the star that he didn't do much after that show.
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
he did.
Nah.
Yes, he did.
What he did?
Had
He's
multiple
rolling in
movies.
dough.
What's his name?
What did he
Daniel-
do?
Daniel
Daniel,
Radcliffe.
What did he do after that?
Him and Elijah Wood like the same person though.
Yeah, they do,
Exactly.
they do.
Him and Elijah Wood.
But
look
he
exactly
had
the
a
same.
show
Twilight?
on FX.
Daniel
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yeah.
Oh, with the dog Wilfred or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That and
Yeah.
something else. He had something else though too.
You're scraping the barrel. He
And
didn't do
he's-
much
he's
after that.
had- no, he's had
He didn't
movies
have
after
to. You know
that.
how
Yo,
rich he is.
totally pause for 1 second. I took my kids to Universal Studios and they have the Harry Potter world or section.
It's lit.
Bro, the fact that all of that was in J.K. Rowling's head,
Thank
all
you.
the
It's crazy,
language,
yeah.
the colors, the
Yeah.
names of the houses, Gryffindor, like, bro,
Magic
billion-dollar franchise.
Beer.
Easily.
was
The
a
Butterbeer
Like,
is lit,
they
by
have
the way.
butterbeer
Butterbeer
there.
is so
They
yummy.
sell
And
the
she didn't get
wands.
started till like she was over 30 or something like
Yeah,
that,
she was like in
right?
her 40s.
She was homeless.
Was
Really?
she?
Yeah, she was living.
She
was
wrote
living
all
in a
that
car.
in
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah, she lived in a car.
I didn't know that part.
Oh, well,
That's
maybe I
what-
might have to switch my voice just
what
on that
those-
alone.
Your voice?
My vote.
Whoa, wait a second.
Tahir,
vote.
Is he hungry?
switch?
Huh? Are you
My
hungry?
vote. My vote. I didn't know she was like, that's like the white Tyler Perry then. She was
Tyler,
writing in her
Tyler
car.
Perry needs help.
You
in
didn't
his
like
writing
Jabba the
room.
Hutt in Star Wars? You ain't see those
I just
Simpsons?
don't. I used
He
to
like
watch
Pizza
it
the
so-
Hut.
I used to watch it.
Like, Pizza the Hut.
It's a real place.
Hello. Yeah, starting again. Yeah. I'm headed home. Just like that. Yes. Pizza the Hut was the one. Yes. I'll be there soon, Mom.
Oh, Tahir! That's top 5 funny shit.
Oh, shit.
Pizza the
I don't even want to say that. That was great.
Oh my gosh! That's so funny to hear that.
It's dark here, guys.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
it's dark here.
Like pizza the Hut.
Come on, man. This is too much.
I'm sorry,
Light's too
yo.
bright, man. Jesus.
That got to my bones. That was to the core funny.
I heard an alarm going off in my head. Like, this is not a drill. He just got your ass. Look alive. Okay.
Okay, I'll start. I didn't grow up on Harry Potter. Harry Potter happened in the weird age where my kids were not interested in anything but cartoons.
Yeah.
That whole 8-year span, they just missed each one of those things. Then they got into it later. But Star Wars was a thing that I watched as a kid.
Yes.
And I watched with my kids. It's pretty easy for me. I just consume way more Star Wars content. And The Mandalorian is one of the best shows freaking all
hands
time.
down.
Me and Josh were in Japan, and we didn't know that. I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know. A lot of stuff like HBO, Disney only works in the U.S.
Yeah.
So we were in there like, oh, sorry, y'all didn't know? Okay, I didn't know. So we turned on Disney Plus, and it was like, nah. We were like, but I want it. I want to watch it. I want to see it. So we had to download, it's called a VPN, where you got to trick your computer and make it things in the United States.
Yeah.
Bro, we was on the black market of the web, the dark web, which is also a dope thing. Like you because you know how Netflix is territorial. Like certain shows are not available in the U.S.
Yeah.
You do the VPN, you can watch stuff that's not on Netflix in the U.S.
Do you get to watch it for free?
Nah, you got to pay I
your
don't know,
VPN.
$7 to $8 a month. But anyway, we did all that to make sure we watched The Mandalorian. So for me, Star Wars is like, they made a lot of bad movies, but they made a lot of good movies.
What was
made a
the
lot
good
of
ones?
movies.
What were the
They
good
made a
ones?
lot
What
of-
were the-
I really like, of the first trilogy, Empire Strikes Back was really good.
Yeah.
the one with Childish Gambino was not good though, right? That's what everybody said.
No.
That was a spin-off.
Solo
That
was
like-
probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no.
It's an origin story, too.
Episode 1 with Jar Jar Binks was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Oh my God. Like that dude's life was like low-key ruined.
Really?
Yeah, that was a black
the
dude, by the
actor?
way. The actor.
Oh.
And he just did voiceover. His life was low-key ruined. But then like Star Wars fans, they be ridiculous, bro. They be
Yeah.
ruining people's like John Boyega, they don't like him.
Yeah.
They didn't like the
Really?
girl.
Why don't they like him?
He's black in Star Wars.
I
Bro,
thought he
they-
was cool though.
They
We like him.
because this one was the lowest, like it had low sales, like record low sales. They only put his picture up.
When it's bad news.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It was so hard.
Same
Like,
thing
he's not
happened
even
with
the
Cats.
star of the movie.
I'm like, is he even?
They didn't
Daisy
put Kylo
Ridley,
Ren.
she had to delete her social media. The Asian girl, I think her name is Kelly Tran.
Yeah.
What
She
are
had
they
to-
saying that they didn't do good
just
performances?
Troll them. They
No.
just
Yeah.
troll them.
They just
And
trolling them.
like incessantly. So I'm not a Star Wars fanboy like that. Like I don't get that invested in it. But like they've had good movies in each trilogy. and the Mandalorian was fantastic. And
Yeah.
the video games are good. I play the video games with my kids.
video
Yeah.
games. are
On
great.
PS4, the video games are great.
Wait, what do they have at like theme parks or whatever?
They just opened the Star Wars ride or Star Wars World.
I'm like, they got a whole world
No,
now.
no,
don't they?
Disneyland. Yeah, it's only like 3. You didn't see that video went viral? The line was like 4 and 5 hours long. It was just like a pool of people at the new Star Wars thing.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, franchise-wise,
Are
Star
there-
Wars just prints
Yeah,
money.
I think, but they also. I don't know if that's fair though, because that has been around since what, the 70s.
Yeah,
And
oh,
Harry
yeah.
Potter just came out within like
Yeah.
the last.
Yeah, it's
10
a
years.
30-year-old franchise.
Yeah.
Like they definitely
I don't
have.
feel like nobody, because I remember, I'm old enough to remember when Star Wars was out when I was younger, and I feel like people liked it more than they like the newer ones. They don't seem like they like the newer ones.
Well, they
because
say
there's
that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of movies that are similar to it. There's a lot of space sci-fi type of stuff nowadays. Back then there wasn't, like, that was cutting edge. All the
It was.
Yeah.
special effects in the 70s, like you're like, oh, there's nothing better than this.
And that Darth Vader, Luke, I'm your father, or no, I'm your father, is
What
like
was it?
considered. It's so. Here's the technical line. Obi-Wan never told you what really happened to your father. Luke says, he told me everything. He told me you killed him, and he says, no, I am your father. No, search your feelings and you'll know it's true. But people just said, Luke, I am your father, but it's technically no, I am your father. But that twist when that came
Damn,
out,
he burnt you.
Messed it up.
no, he was
More.
asking.
No, I think he was trying to.
No, he was asking.
No,
That twist was like, because that was before the internet, so that's what I consider the greatest twist in movie history. We didn't even get to see that. Like, we watched it knowing that that was coming. But if you didn't know that, people were like,
And what is the origin
Mind
story
blown.
of Star Wars? Are they fighting to save Earth?
Now
I don't even know what- or they-
you'd have to just get into his when Star Wars was bought by Disney. They did a whole parade on Disney's lot, like stormtroopers, everything, like, and then Darth Vader walked on at the end, was like, Mickey, I am your father. It was like the greatest merger ever.
to Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're
funny.
doing your
And that's been,
spinoff
like,
too, right?
Like, it was great. Shut up.
You're doing your
Shut
spinoff,
up,
Darth
shut up.
Plater, right?
Shut up. This is not good.
I am
not-
your
I
plotter.
What?
I am your plotter.
What? I don't get it.
I didn't even get it. It was just
another way of saying
Plotter.
platter. I'm more laughing
kept
at
going.
his
kept
inability to let a joke go.
I really didn't even understand.
Darth Plater, he grabs
What I
food. You're about to bite a piece of chicken. He's like, no.
I am your father.
Anyway, I think what makes Star Wars so dope is that at the time it was niche. Like, it was a sci-fi.
Yeah.
It wasn't a really big genre, but they had a cult following, and
Yeah.
it followed them into like the new series, and now it's expanded. Like, you got the Lego Star Wars series. You got
Oh,
the video
man.
game, you got the cartoons that
There's
come on
spin-offs.
network, Cartoon Network,
Attack of the
They got
Clones.
you got the-
Series.
like so much stuff to the point where they were like, it literally had a cult following, and then it became like this massive worldwide thing. And for it to be from the 70s up until now and have the acclaim that it does,
Is it the
when
greatest
Harry Potter
franchise
felt-
ever?
It might be, but wait a minute.
It has to be. It has to be the most.
It has to be
make
up
the
there.
most money.
Maybe it's
thought
the
it was
most
up
long
That's
lived.
No.
But wait a minute, you could say the same thing about Harry Potter, because Harry Potter's been able to have a whole world at Universal Studios, and it's
Still
only
there.
been out in a third of the time.
But
How
that's
many
what-
movies
that's-
are there?
but
Like
that's
8
what
or
I'm saying.
9?
Like, Harry Potter came out
8.
in a time when we had the technology to make those movies amazing, right? We're talking about a movie that came out when Laserdisc was around and still kept its
Beta.
core fan base and expanded it tremendously.
You know what I don't like about Star Wars is that even when, like, so for example, you watch The Mandalorian, the technology that's in the movie still feels like the original Star Wars.
Yeah, I hate
because
the
the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian-
Their radars are horrible.
No,
I
because the
hate
Mandalorian is set right after the end of the Darth Vader dying, so it's
Yeah.
not in the future. It's
But
it's a
They
not a
have
prequel.
ships that can travel at light speed, and their radar still goes beep, 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 beep. Like,
Ain't nobody really figured out a new way to do radar. It's basically that. That's a good point. Like, that's all y'all have.
Spaceships be like horrible. Like, how is it? You got an old school
Yeah.
microwave in this dock. Like, what is happening
That's
right
a
now?
good point. I never
It
thought
just
about
seems
that.
real dirty.
Are there,
Oh.
are there any big villains in Harry Potter? I can't remember none
Yeah,
of
there
them.
Oh,
was that one dude,
Voldemort.
like,
Oh yeah, the
Like
old dude with the
every-
big nose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
No,
big
that's
nose.
Professor.
he don't
you talking
have no
about-
nose.
You talking about
Professor Snipe.
Oh, he's the dude with the little. He has a little stick.
Ain't it two? Ain't
Those
it
are
the-
wizards. All of them have sticks.
Right.
Yeah, I know the guy you're
Like,
talking
wait.
about. Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. Man.
He don't know it.
You be
all.
looking. You're Volder pork.
It's not funny here.
Actually, but you know what? I like the storylines in Harry Potter better. I could watch all of those movies back to back. I can't do the same
Have you
with
seen
Star
them all?
Wars. I have.
Are they
I
all
have not
good?
seen them all.
I think they're all good. I mean, they're all very different. Some are a little slower than others, but
That's
in
what
the
it
whole
was.
collection of it, I could watch it. But Star Wars has a lot of slow moments in
Yeah,
almost every
nigga.
movie.
Star Wars has
Ain't the
some
movies
bad
like
movies.
3 hours? They all 3 hours. They all
Bro,
take
like
like
3
5
hours.
years to
The
make.
Force Awakens is Star Wars: A New Hope with just different characters. It is
Right.
literally the same movie.
Wow.
Is that
Like
is
they
that-
didn't even. All they did was make Luke into Rey.
Yeah.
But it is the same movie. They didn't even try to hide it.
No.
And
Is
they
it
didn't have a
supposed to be a
good
spin-off?
villain for the end of this one, so they're like, the Emperor again. Like, bro, he was dead. He was on a machine.
Or so you thought.
And we're like, okay, come on. But still, like, it was enjoyable.
It was, that was so whack, man. I'm going to be honest about this last one. I just was like, I'm going to go because I'm a fan, but I was just like,
I feel like Star Wars permeated pop culture a lot more than Harry Potter, but that could be part of, like you said, it started so much earlier.
Yeah.
It like almost created the genre in a sense. It was like Star Wars and Star Trek were the only things about space.
Yeah.
and then
For
you
a
had
long time.
so many characters to choose from. Like, you had Chewie.
Oh,
You had
man.
Stormtroopers. You had Darth Vader.
Jango Fett,
You
Boba
had
Fett,
Bo-
Luke,
all of
Leia,
them. Like,
Darth Vader, the
so, like,
Emperor.
everybody had somebody to try to connect with versus, like, just Harry Potter and his homeboys, and then that's it. Dumbledore.
Nah, Harry Potter. They had they used to play that soccer game, but on the
Quidditch.
stick, Quidditch. I wanted to play.
That's
that.
not a character,
They
though.
actually do have Quidditch leagues in real life. but
We
they
tried
be-
to do that here,
We
remember?
did try to.
But it was
They
too
be running.
expensive.
They be running
what's
on
it
a
called?
Quidditch. It's like lacrosse, but
It's like
on, flying
spinach,
on
so
your,
we understand why you wouldn't know it.
Ah, Quidditch.
I knew it. All right, let's go ahead and get this vote going real quick so we can answer immediately.
Has an endless amount of those. He never runs out of the opportunity to do
I
that.
saw it, but when he didn't do it immediately, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just him. Then he was like, oh.
No, you properly judged him. Quit it.
All right, Doe, what you got?
I'm going Star Wars just because I don't really. I've never watched a full Harry Potter and they're boring.
Okay,
And
I
got
got
the
you.
same birthday too, right?
Man, say your thing.
It's my turn.
Shoot face.
Yeah,
nigga.
come on, Scary Potter.
I'm gonna go. You said what?
Say, come on, Scary Potter.
I wasn't even. Why? Because I'm black.
Yes, Shadow Clan, let's go. Spit it out.
Hey, Shadow Clan.
I ain't mad at that.
Your name is Tahir Waysmore.
Brillo pad. Anyways, you said what?
His name is Tahir Waysmore.
I didn't want
So here no mas.
No, from Pizza the Hut. Don't
No,
forget
Oh,
that.
yeah. I don't know the
Pizza
problem.
the Hut is the joke of
Yeah,
the
that's the joke of the
2020
episode. Yeah,
so
you
far.
got
Takes
that.
over. I'm gonna go with.
That boy took his gloves off. 80%.
All right, I'm going to head out.
I'm through.
Harry Potter.
Okay.
Just because that was my time. I feel like you growing up, or y'all growing up with Star Wars. I grew up with Harry Potter. I didn't watch it a lot though, but yeah,
Too busy cripping.
I got nothing. I really got nothing for this.
From
debate.
Crippendor.
I'm
You was
not.
watching Block Wars.
I'm not at all. But all right.
Block Wars? Star Wars?
They were still laughing at mine.
just wanted to get in,
Pizza
man.
the Hut enough.
so funny. I'm gonna go with Harry Potter because I feel like the movies are more. I like the movies. I like the. I mean, and then again, it's like, hey, they have magic wands.
Meg has a horrible reason for picking. She
I'm
just,
tired.
Just picked something.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Star Wars.
Oh, can I
cuz.
say what?
Oh, Star Wars with me too. What we gonna say, Diesel?
The world at Universal really got me
It is
messing
fire.
with Harry Potter.
It is
It's just
dope.
the fact that they have a whole in like every single what is it, like every little stand is its own little thing, like the beer. They have a
Yeah.
whole thing of just beer.
They got the
Beer
train.
cart.
They got
The
the
rides
train.
are good.
They got
They
the
Butterbeer is
have
fire,
They have
too.
the singing, dancing frogs.
the frogs. It snows.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
cool. Well, it looks like Star Wars still has it, though. So, sorry, Harry Potter fans. We rocking with Star Wars over here. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Versus. Please send in your suggestions to my inbox on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next show.
You just want a reason for people to DM you.
No, I don't, actually.
All right, one more and we're out of here.
Good Lord.